Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of our Leverage podcast. As you know, I am Mike Nelson, runs the white label affiliate marketing program here at Sphere Rocket. But more importantly, we like to talk to business owners across the country, all kinds of expertise, all types of number of years of experience. I'm really happy to have Ted on here today. Ted is a guy I got to meet out of Colorado through a local networking group. He does some infinity banking. I am not going to spoil the surprise, but he is going to go into some details on that. I think it's a fantastic and interesting concept that not too many people are talking about. So, Ted, welcome to the show today, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you make money.
Well, thanks, Mike. Good to be here. I do a lot of different things. I've been in business for about 40 years. Went from farming and running the little roadside produce outfit to getting in the insurance business for about 8 years. And then after 9/11, that got a little tough for a while. So we went into the food business and stumbled our way into getting a contract with a chain of stores owned by Kroger and proceeded to sell several million burritos for a few years. Invested in some real estate. Read a couple of books back in 2018. I read a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? And it was all about this concept called infinite banking. And I don't even think they might have called it infinite banking in the book. I think they called it the family bank. And it was pretty interesting. And it was funny because I had been in life insurance for 8 years and hadn't really heard about it. And so I proceeded to jump in and, take part in the process. Called my agent that took over my business, put a bunch of money in these policies that I previously had. And when I went to use the money, the way that it shows you how to in the books, I found out that it wasn't exactly infinite banking how it's really meant to be. And that's when I realized that not very many people know about the concept or how to use it, including agents. Probably 90% of agents that I meet, sometimes they've heard of it, but they really don't know how to do it. There's only a small percentage that do. And so this discovery came from the second book I read, which was called Becoming Your Own Banker by a guy named Nelson Nash. And it's a pretty cool concept. It's what I'm doing mainly now, is helping people with this method. As far as how I make money, the real estate still bringing in money. The burrito business is still, the food business is still bringing in money. But I'm basically doing this because people need it. Back in 1996, I think the statistic was 4 out of 100 people could afford to retire comfortably, and the other 96 were either dead or dead broke when they hit 65. And the statistics really haven't changed much in 30 years. So I'd like to change it for as many people as I can. You want to know a little bit about the concept of infinite banking, how it works?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the concept of this is a so many people get into business to, of course, generate profit, generate income, but it's so helpful when you have a passion behind it, right? Like a passion of helping educate people based on those stats you gave, right? Like I remember you giving those stats at the conference we were at, and I was just like, who knew, right? Who knew if that small of a percentage was actually financially capable or retirement with comfort. So tell us a little bit about what wakes you up every day, right, to go do this. What keeps you going? What's exciting to you?
Well, it's exciting to be able to make a 360-degree change to someone's life almost overnight. And it's just exciting to see what it can do for them, their families. And as people get going with it and really get used to it, I think it really changes their whole outlook on their life in general. And that's just kind of a driving motivator.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have an example of how you could share without obviously the specifics of just the impact that this model has?
Yeah, well, I took a friend that had about $100,000 just sitting in his safe that really no one knew about, and he had a rental house. So if he would have died, his landlord might have found it. and that it was going to be a surprise for his son. If he passed away, that's what he was going to leave him. And we dug into his whole situation, and we took, it wasn't making him any money. He didn't understand what the 3.5% cost of inflation would do to that money just sitting still. He didn't really understand compounding, the rule of 72. Mm-hmm. Take 72 divided by the interest rate. That's how long it takes your money to double. Well, it does the same thing by going away with inflation if you're not doing something productive with it. And so we took 25 grand out of the safe and an inferior insurance policy that he had and traded it in for an infinite banking policy designed the right way. Overnight, if something happened to him, his son would collect $569,000 in tax-free money. His mom, who owned the policy and gave it to him, was the beneficiary of his original policy, which was $100,000. So we put her at $100,000. So literally, we took 25 grand and the 13,000 the other policy was worth, and turned it into a total of a $659,000 death benefit. Then we took a loan out on the money, and we paid off 2 trucks that he had at the credit union. And he has a seasonal business. So this allowed him to not have to make payments on the loan unless it was convenient and when he wanted to. And so now he's been making payments during the summer when his business is, flourishing. In the winter, he hasn't made any payments. He's continued to add to the policy. And right now, he has $10,000 that he owes on the $22,000 loan. His death benefit now is up to $759,000, $659 for his son, $100 for his mom. If he needs money, there's $59,000 available for a policy loan, and he still has 50 grand in his safe. He's earning dividends and guaranteed interest rate. And if that didn't change his life in a flash, what would?
Yeah. And how long has that been? What was that period of time? A handful of years or less?
We're on the 3rd year now, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in October. I think October, the 3rd year premium will be due.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for that. I like the audience to be able to see like how practical it is, right? And like how simple it can be with the right guidance and the right leadership in place. Obviously you've owned multiple businesses. You're a seasoned entrepreneur, per se. So tell me a little bit about what, because this is a leverage podcast, so I'm going to switch a gear just a tiny bit here, but how do you apply leverage into your businesses, right? And leverage could mean anything. It could be a software. It could be finances. It could be people. So just talk to us, our audience, a little bit about your business experience and how you've applied leverage and what that leverage looks like.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways to apply leverage. Equity is a big one. Equity, it sounds good. I mean, it makes for saying, oh, well, my net worth is X amount, but that equity doesn't really make you any money. Equity just sits there. And same thing, even equity can decay with the cost of inflation and the devaluation of the dollar and other things. So I like to leverage equity and put the money into play. I've even leveraged equity and put money in the insurance policy and then turned around and invested it into something else. And so that's a pretty good form of leverage. The other thing that I really am starting to do heavy duty is AI. I mean, you can get so much more done with AI now, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's been great. And what we've watched that evolution, right, is it goes from at some juncture, what it'll do is the business owner is doing the AI to eventually they're actually applying human leverage, right, against that AI. I mean, certainly you can automate things like check my email, right, and check my tasks and all those things. But eventually, where we're bringing in some expertise from our company perspective is the business owner doesn't want to have to prompt and do all the programming, right? It's cool right now for a lot of business owners, but then they're just like, oh my gosh, I can get immersed and sucked into this. So that's kind of a cool concept too, is like, business owner gets in there, gets their hands wet, and then eventually as they get more successful and they need more leverage, then we bring in, right, or you could bring in like additional humans, right, to do all the prompting, to do the outputs, to be reviewed by the business owner, of course, before execution. So really cool stuff. What's something you stopped doing that helped you grow faster at any juncture in your career, like any of the businesses?
Something that I stopped doing?
Yeah.
Well, I stopped hiring someone that didn't work out the first time. I figured out that if they're not going to work out once, they're probably not going to work out again. And I repeatedly gave people another chance, and it just never seemed to pan out.
Yeah, one of my mentors was always famous for saying, not that it was probably an original quote, but it was like slow to hire, quick to fire, right? And I do follow that mindset because as humans, a lot of times we're very compassionate people, and we're like, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? And all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's not the benefit of the doubt anymore. It's the person, right? And you look back and you're like, I kind of saw that 2 benefit of the doubts ago.
Yeah, and it works the same way with if you're a landlord, it works the same way with the tenant that doesn't seem to pay the rent on time. They never will.
100%. And then people wonder why we're so like hard on people, and it's like just because the history is there. You see it time and time again, right? It's like if you do it once or twice, it's probably the door's been open for
right
multiple. What's kind of a metric or what's a trend? I mean, that's probably a better question. What's kind of a trend that you're watching right now, right, from your position?
Well, I think AI is definitely the trend.
Yeah,
that's going. I mean, you see crazy things going on with AI. You see people making millions of dollars with AI in a short period of time, and it's mainly helping businesses and stuff to put it to work, because there's a little learning curve involved, and there's so many different AI tools, so many rabbit holes you can go down. I think that's the biggest trend. The other trend I'm seeing is AI running AI. You talked about like getting a VA or I have a VA myself, but getting another person to take care of your prompting and running the programs. What's getting so now they're building programs that run other programs, and it's just pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it's a crazy world, and it's changing faster than anything I've ever seen change. Right? It's like I send my VAs into some training on Claude, right? And within like a month, it's not that is bad training, but it's like, okay, now you need to do another 2 weeks of training just based on all of the bells and whistles and features and things that have changed. It's just a constant evolutionary change.
And another trend that I see, another change that I see going on is in the information age. Yeah. I see that it's much harder for the media, government, whoever, to control what we see and hear. And it's a lot harder to keep big secrets these days.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point because, I was watching something the other day where it's like, you're watching TikTok, and again, you have to be careful where you consume your information, of course, but you look at things like, like Ukraine wars or Iran wars. I mean, there's these birds in the sky, drones in the sky that are reporting back real time, like this is exactly what's going on over there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not independent of a single source of information, which again, there's the other side of it. That's like, can you believe it, right? Is it a real data that's coming in, if you will? But it's very interesting. Like you said, you can get your information in a lot of different places these days.
Yeah.
What's a lesson that you, over your life and business, that you've had to learn the hard way?
Oh, a hard lesson. Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Trust but verify. Always do your due diligence.
Yes, I love that. And I think that we see that in more seasoned business owners is like, you get caught up as a younger business owner of the excitement and the opportunity. You're like, hell yeah, let's go do it. And then you find out later that like maybe there should have been a little more thought process behind it, a little more verification behind it. So I'm also the opposite, the same as slow to hire, quick to fire. I'm slow to get into business with people. Because it's hard to get quick out of business with people.
Yeah, well, and always ask yourself what could possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
And if it does, what it's what's the consequences going to be of that, and how do we handle it?
Absolutely, 100%. What's one piece of leverage advice you'd give someone trying to get to the next level?
Well, right. I guess if you're talking financially, I'm going to go right back to the infinite banking, because it's not a new concept. It's something that was highly used before we had E-Trade and Ameritrade, and before the government started coming up with the 401k and the IRA and the Roth IRA and all these other pension plans. People really utilized life insurance. Of course, in the 80s, the IRS had to make some rules, so you couldn't put so much money into these life insurance policies. But it's the only place I know of where you can set a guaranteed foundation where your money's safe from creditors in most states, safe from bankruptcy, safe from the government. You're guaranteed to get a gain on it. You have a guaranteed death benefit that's tax-free. And you can take the policy loan, which makes money non-taxable because loans aren't taxable. And you can put it somewhere and do something else productive. Or even if you buy stuff, buy a car, you have to fix your house, whatever, run that money through the policy and then do that. And you never lose that compounding effect. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the audience can hear like just the knowledge that he brings to the table and all the, I don't know if I want to call it creative, but in my mind, it's a creative way, although it's not creative in the way sometimes people think creative is, but like there's a lot of opportunity, right? Into that world of protecting your money and growing your money that most people don't talk about, as Ted's kind of mentioning. I'm going to move us into the lightning round right now, my friends. So this is just going to be simple bullets and simple answers back. What's your favorite business book? I know you mentioned a couple of them throughout the podcast.
Oh, I don't know. I have a few.
Yeah,
I like the Rich Dad Poor Dad books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and of course, Think and Grow Rich. Everybody kind of likes that book.
Yep, I like those too. I gotta go Robert Kiyosaki. Best purchase under $100. Best purchase under $100. Lightning round coming from all over the place.
We gotta go with the electric razor, man.
All right, let's go with what's your favorite AI tool you're using today?
I'm getting pretty hooked on Claude.
All right. That seems to be the go-to right now. We still have some people on the ChatGPT bandwagon, but Claude seems to be the go-to. If I were to open your phone and it would say how much which app do you spend the most time on if it was tracking your time?
Well, probably a combination between phone calls, messages, and Facebook, I guess.
Perfect. What is Ted's most impactful habit? If you could give that to anybody else as advice, what is a habit that you have that has the most impact to you?
I think I always visualize and, kind of meditate on the things that I want and the way I want things to come out and happen.
Love it. One thing that you'd automate immediately if you could automate it, and it doesn't have to be business. It could be like my laundry.
My email.
All right.
So going back to the app I spend the most time on, it's probably email.
Yep. A lot of people are that way. Calendar management and email for sure. What if I asked Ted to kind of give the definition based on the show that we're on? Again, leverage could mean anything. It doesn't have to be people, could be money. What would your definition be of leverage?
Leverage is figuring out how to make things happen while you're not personally doing them, including making money.
Love that. And that's the concept of infinite banking, right? So that's a beautiful tie-in. So Ted, if everybody wanted to get a hold of you and learn more about either insurance or infinite banking concepts, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Facebook's a great way to find me, and they're just under my name. Also, have a couple of communities on Skool, Skool.
Okay.
That's also a trending thing going on right now at Skool.
Agreed. And as everybody knows, I always end these saying you can reach out to me. I know a lot of business owners. My job is to connect the dots for people when they reach out. So it's Ted Mauro. I believe it's Mauro if you're looking for him in Facebook. So reach out to Ted, reach out to me. Ted, thanks so much for participating in today's episode. I love the concept. We have not done a guest with infinite banking knowledge, so it was super cool for me to learn more. I've heard you speak a couple of times now, and each time I seem to get more nuggets out of what you say. So Ted, thanks again so much. Any parting thoughts that you have on your part?
I do. I'd like to issue a quick little warning.
Yeah.
If you decide you want to get into infinite banking, don't trust any agent that tells you they know exactly what it is. Yeah. And if they tell you it's an IUL, which is Indexed Universal Life, it's probably not going to be the same as infinite banking is designed to be. It's a specially designed policy, and the agent has to know what the heck they're doing to set it up right. Yeah. So just want to give you that warning.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ted. I really appreciate that. I know you're you got a good heart, and you're out there to help people and make sure they don't get taken advantage of. So Ted, thanks so much. Audience, thanks for tuning into another episode, and we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great week, Ted.
Thanks, you too, Mike. Appreciate you having me here.